Remembering Allah and rise for the month of Ramadan. Oh Ramadan.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We are now in the month of Ramadan, Alhamdulillah, receiving the blessings of Ramadan al-Mubarak. This is Mustafa Ansari speaking to you, and the title for today's topic that we are going to discuss here is Ramadan and forgiveness. Forgiveness which is so sublime. The magnificence of the Almighty is seen everywhere during this month, as always, as also in the other months. But in this particular month, which is the holiest of holy months of Ramadan, we have a very special blessing that we find in every activity that a person does in his life from morning to evening. While we come to the subject of forgiveness, I would like to seek the opinion of our brother Dr. Qadri on the subject.
Assalam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Professor Dr. Muhammad Ahmed Qadri. I'm a professor of political science at the University of Karachi, Pakistan, and also founding director of Islamic Educational and Cultural Research Center, USA and Canada. Naturally, Brother Ansari has mentioned that today we'll be discussing about a very important aspect of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a new concept, Brother Ansari, and I believe that Quran and before Quran, while we see that there is interaction and correlationship, all these books, the holy books, Bible and Old Testament, and we see
New Testament,
that new one as well. Apart from these, forgiveness itself is a concept which builds character and makes community, and community building is most important. Community building without forgiveness is aimless. That would be unended problem if we say that, yeah, we are following system, but there will be no forgiveness. Forgiveness in Constitution is there. Like if somebody kills, then the final authority is president, any president or any authority, and to us Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is final authority. We believe He forgives, but there are certain manners. There are so many things which have to be understood by human being.
I think the basic concept here, Doctor, is contained in this small edict that you might say, that to err is human.
Yeah.
And I mean, the basic concept emanates from the first error that was done by, as I said, Adam alayhi salam.
Yeah.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. This was the dua that was
I think,
by
Brother Ansari Sahab, this was not error, it was kind of reason.
A reason.
to send us here.
To send us here.
Because
yes.
there must be some reason.
Yes.
People say, oh my God, he died of this disease, he died of this, or he got sort of lost because of this reason. So reason is there. So reasoning always create another reason.
Another reason.
So we are here because of
that particular reason.
Adam and Eve. So
Yes.
yeah.
That's a beautiful way of explaining it. But even then, the concept of forgiveness, if you see,
Yeah.
that in the Quran Hakim, the dua that was recited by Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا
وَتَرْحَمْنَا
وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَ مِنَ
الْخَاسِرِينَ.
الْخَاسِرِينَ.
Yeah.
I mean, this is being taught from the very beginning,
Yeah.
that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His magnificence,
Yeah.
you see, and His mercy, which is constantly overflowing, you see, particularly in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak, where He is forgiving teams of mu'mineen who are trying their level best to be obedient to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The concept of forgiveness is basic in a human, because the concept of wrong and right, both are there. We have been provided an ethical code. Lord Almighty is dealing with the entire humanity on an ethical basis.
Yeah, and I think since we are talking of forgiveness, so forgiveness and its conceptual or theoretical approach and practical approach can be seen or traced back in different nations and different scholars. I don't find any scholar in the world, or political thinker, or social thinker, or from classical to the contemporary thought history, or the thought which can be seen from different nations or from different cultures, from different communities, that a single person has asked not to go for forgiveness. Everybody. So this is universal factor or universal law. And this is a law of nature we have to follow.
Absolutely.
And law of nature means which is closer to everybody. Either you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're Hindu, you're Jew, whatever you are. We have to follow certain parameters or paradigms. We see that the Jews are the people who believe in the Torah.
Yeah.
And they believe in Yamim Norain. And this is a day of awe. I must tell you that their concept is not a new concept. You can see in Islam, but by different means. They say that this day of awe is a day in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes fate, and we should go for fasting. Through what? Because book of life is being maintained. It is being written for next year. So what should we do? We should commit ourselves with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, according to them, oh God, we would not commit any sin. We are going to make amendments in our behavior through forgiveness, doing good deeds, presenting ourselves for the services of human being with such a manner that we would not expect anything in response to our services. So this is are the points, or these are the major interlinked issues as well as interlinked beliefs. What we understand that they means Jews from the period of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam or Moses, even today, they follow based on forgiveness. Same is happening with the Christian community. And while Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahu Akbar, how beautifully he set an example. He is entering as a conqueror into the territory of Mecca, and he sees so many people. Yes. I should not use the term of enemies, because I don't believe in that, because Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam never mentioned enemies. They were opposing Islam. How Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered,
dealt with them. Yes.
Allahu Akbar. His head is down, entering as a conqueror, setting an example for the history. Everybody is free.
Yes.
There is no revenge today. And the people who are following me, they must pay respect to humanity. Anyone who is shutting down their doors, they are given protection. Even the person who has entered in the home of Abu Sufyan, protected.
He was the model of excellence.
Exactly.
But then again, you see, when you're talking about this, I'm taking cue from your point of view. I think it's very, very beautifully explained that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that in order for us to be good or ethical beings, we have to imitate the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Exactly.
Forgiveness is one of the most dominant attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us a beautiful dua, which is to be to be recited on the 15th of Shaban night, one of the Shab-e Qadr. Allahumma innaka afuwwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves to forgive. Loves to forgive. Now this is the kind of thought that is coming through to us. This is the attribute which you have to try to inculcate within our personalities, and once we have that concept within us, what kind of a community will we be having? It will be a beautiful community where each one of us is trying his level best to forgive, to try to be forgiving, to try to imitate the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I mean, you said it very, very well. You see, 1,24,000 prophets or messengers came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the day when the earth was born, and all of them brought the same message.
And I think, Brother Ansari Sahab, very well said by you and explained. My personal observation is that today we are missing, from Muslim community, we are missing element of forgiveness.
Element of?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes.
Why? Because we have forgotten the basic, not all of us, but most of
majority of us.
Muslim community members, they have forgiven, they have forgotten the message. Quran says, to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would love you.
Yuhibbukallah.
وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. The people who control their anger and forgive humanity.
And this is what you do in Psalm. This is what you do in Psalm.
This is. So during Ramadan, we do it.
Is put in practice.
This is time.
Constant.
This is time to increase our habit.
Yes.
To increase our practice.
Yes.
And understand that this is not only for you. This would be beneficial for your family, for your friends, for rest of the world, and there would be a peaceful atmosphere in the world if we believe truly.
لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ.
Because what is taqwa? What is taqwa?
Absolutely.
We say this is a pious person, oh, this is a person who has kind of acceptance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through Quran says awliya. The term of awliya, the friends, is not a very common terminology. It is very specific. And how could you become friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you control your ego, superego, and if you control your tongue? Your words must be carrying a message.
Yes.
If we call names of others, if I feel myself that I am superior and everybody is inferior because of wealth, because of linguistic superiority. Sometime, if we talk in English in front of those who don't know English, and we feel ourselves that we are superior, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching our intention, what we are saying.
Yes.
Language should be a medium of communication. Wealth should be a medium of communication to serve community, but it does not mean that we would be using all these tools with such a manner that I would create elite class. So elite class is not acceptable, because Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has asked everybody that Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu would be praying on the same place, in the same lane, the same manner,
standing shoulder to shoulder,
helping out each other, and they would be holding their hands, and there is no superiority of color, creed and caste.
Absolutely.
Only taqwa.
When you're talking of taqwa, I translate it in a slightly different way. My concept is taqwa means God consciousness. And that, why I say so is that you are trying to abstain from those things. A muttaqi would be one who is trying to abstain from all those things which will not earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which will bring displeasure. So he is very conscious of all those things, and he is so conscious that he would, if there is the slightest an iota of a doubt, he will not do it.
Yeah,
is it? Now that is God consciousness. If we are able to achieve God consciousness during the month of Ramadan Mubarak, you said very rightly, we should be able to continue it thereafter.
Exactly. And if we don't continue, what is use of Ramadan? What we got from this? What kind of message we are getting for our emerging generation, or from our young towards our younger generation, if we don't practice?
Yes.
And, yeah, very, very interesting. Forgiveness is for only relatives, or for known person, or for everybody. Yes. Even, believe me, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spread his message that whosoever forgives, he will be closer to me. So forgiveness is so much loved by Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But today,
and this is the month of maghfirah.
Yeah,
this is the month of forgiveness.
Exactly. And the first, these 10 days.
The second 10 days would be, first is mercy. Second 10 days forgiveness.
Mercy, to whom mercy would be coming, the channel of mercy would be through what? Through your behavior. First day of fasting, or the first message of Hilal, that is the crescent. If you got, oh, this is Ramadan, it has begun. Alhamdulillah. What for we are ready? Only to pray for 30 days or 29 days, or just only to show the people that we are fasting, or we having this Ramadan, and this is blessing month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everybody. What we are getting, if we don't begin with our own selves, and what does not realize that this is a month of forgiveness, and forgiveness is always, and the mercy is always, and the blessings of Ramadan is always rest of the world, rest of the year. If you don't realize this, then everything would be useless. I think this is time, informally talking to you, to say Khuda Hafiz to our brothers and sisters.
Yes,
and
indeed. We'll be joining them later, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala, and if with your permission, I want to elaborate something before
certainly
our brothers and sisters. Thank you very much. And my dear viewers, brothers and sisters, today we discussed about very important point, precisely forgiveness. Important point, forgiveness for whom? For everybody. Love humanity, don't go for revenge, and always keep in your mind, and we must keep in our mind, that forgiveness is an opening of a new chapter of blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only mentally, if you are depressed because you don't have good relations with your brothers, sisters and relatives or known person, just only for go and say Assalamu alaikum, and I believe they would accept you. And if there is interaction between you and others, and you start with the forgiveness, okay, I withdraw from this claim, let's have good relationship, I believe that this would be a key of success here and also afterward. But the main thing is that we have to kill our nafs. Self, the term of self is used for nafs, and ego is most dangerous. That's why there are so many hadiths and Quranic verses which refer to ego. Let's see, what should we do? We must promise ourselves that whatever has been done in past, this is month of Ramadan, and inshallah I believe that I would be following without any criticism, without following anyone, or without any prejudiced opinion, that what he or she would be saying, even my wife and my friends and my family members, what they would be saying, oh, you're going to forgive him? Don't care about anyone, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would get you into the circle of rahmah because of your single action of forgiveness. Let's promise we are doing it, and inshallah we are getting a fruitful result. May Allah bless all of you. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Allah Hafiz and goodbye.
That is for dhikr, remembering Allah, and rise for the month of Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan.